Hello, my name is Richard Sept, or to my students, Mr. Sept. I am a retired journeyman tool and die maker by profession, with just under 50 years of working experience in various machine shops and vocational training institutions. I am privileged to be the lead machine shop instructor at the School of Engineering at Parks College of Engineering, Aviation, and Technology at St. Louis University. Before I get started showing you the basic components of our equipment in our machine shop training department, I would like to take this opportunity to speak for all of our skilled staff that it is a rewarding experience to have the opportunity to pass on to the next generation the skills and techniques that will assist our students to be productive members of society. I am hopeful that the educational experiences that the students that I have shared give them the opportunity not to just to look for a job, but the confidence to look for work, so that one day they will have the opportunity to pass on their life's experiences to the next generation. It is a very rewarding feeling that never gets old. Thank you. I'd like to take a moment to go over the tools that the students purchase to do the machine shop course here. They get a bag in which to carry their tools in with the St. Louis University logo on it, and it's also large enough to hold their folder that has their blueprints and all their drawings that they need to take the class. They get a 12-inch satin chrome general scale that's graduated in 100 thousandths and 10 thousandths of an inch on one side and 30 seconds and 64ths on the other. They get a pair of good quality safety glasses which fit over the top of most regular wearing glasses as well. They have here a digital calibers that they purchased. It's got a few nice features which I'll go over in a minute once I take it out of the box. They have a carbide tipped magnetic scriber, and also last but not least they have a calculator to do their calculations with if they want to use a calculator in the class. I'm going to take also a minute to go over each tool that's in the tool bag and go over a few features that the tool has that we've selected for the students. This particular calculator is kind of durable and stuff, but it is rather inexpensive, and so if they drop it off their machine and break it, that's not out much at all. In fact, we'll replace it if it falls off a machine and gets broke. And it has the cosine and trig functions on the front as well as just addition and subtraction. So it's kind of a little handy calculator for the students to have in the machine shop environment. We also have a 12-inch, like I said, satin chrome general scale. It's graduated just the way I like scales to be graduated for the students to use in the shop. It's graduated on this side in 10 thousandths increments of an inch, and it's also graduated in 100 thousandths increments as well. On the other side, it has the 30 seconds and 64th graduations, which the students could use if they want, but there's really not a lot of use for that in our particular shop because this is the side they'll be using mostly to make any measurements with their scale as they go along. We have a carbide tipped scriber. It has a magnet on one side, as you can see, and it also has the carbide tipped on the other, a little pocket holder to keep it in their pocket if they wish to carry it there, and it's a little handy tool for them to have for the jobs that they're going to be doing in our shop. We have a very good pair of quality safety glasses that we've selected for the students. These glasses will fit over most and all reading glasses that the students may have. They can just wear these right over the top of their regular glasses. We really like these. It's got some nice features. It's got some built-in side shields on it. It does have the appropriate number in it as far as the quality of the glasses go. It has some extra shielding across the top of the glasses, and they're very comfortable to wear. Last but not least is our digital calibers. Our digital calibers, I've pretty much really liked these. They're pretty durable calibers, pretty reliable, and for the students, it's got some really nice features. The zero, first off, it'll shut off itself if the students leave it on for too long a period of time. It'll have an auto shut off, but it's also got a memory to remember where zero was. But what we try to encourage all students to do is wipe the inside of the calibers out first before they use them. Make sure they read zero in the window. If not, zero them out, and then they can go from there. The calibers also will read in metric as well as imperial measurement, imperial being the measuring that we use mostly in the United States, thousandths of an inch. It does have, like I say, a floating zero that you can change the zero in dimensions when you need to make some dimensions, and I'll show you a little more about this in a moment, how to use this. And it does have the different features that go along with it. I want to take a minute and talk about the versatility of this particular set of dial calibers. It's a brand that I particularly kind of like for the money, and it's a good digital calibers to purchase. Okay, this particular digital calibers, let's go over the things you have to be just a little bit cautious of. When you go to put the battery in, the battery is a little cumbersome to get to. You pull this tray out, and a little care and caution needs to be taken when the battery is put in, that you don't mess up the internal components when you put it in, and you make sure that you put it in right side up. Another thing that you got to be cautious of is when you go ahead and turn this on for the first time and go to use it, and if you get in a hurry, sometimes you'll turn it on as you're trying to pull it out and it won't read 0. I caution all the students to wipe it off here, run it home close, 0 it out, and then go ahead and open it and close it back up to 0 and make sure it reads 0 in the window. Okay? Now, some of the key features of the calibers themselves is you got the opportunity to read outside dimensions. You got the opportunity to read inside dimensions. Okay? You got the opportunity to read distance from here to here, which would go for that, so you could check the depth of it from there to there, how much that is. And you got the ability to read from here to here on the rod as it comes out. So as a for instance, if you wanted to check the depth of, let's see here now, the depth of from the top of this to the bottom of that hole on a cutaway view, you could take and run this down like so, run that down till it touches, take and look and see, and you can see how deep that hole is from the top down to the bottom. Now on this particular side, I've got another hole that's just got a drilled hole, and as I've highlighted with Sharpie, you can see that the top edge of the hole, and you can see where it goes down to the drill point that's in there. On most call-outs on prints, when it gives the depth of the hole, it's referring to not where it goes down with the point of the drill, but where the drill is full size. And the only time you have to concern yourself is, if you got some instance where you have to watch how deep you're drilling in reference to the hole itself. So, but you can come down with this, take your rod, run your calibers on down till it touches the top, okay? Then come around and see what you got, and that would be the depth of your hole as it goes. Another thing is, it has these little ground areas in the calibers right here. I caution people on using them to don't try to take and measure stuff with that little point like that. That's bad juju. You only use this portion of the calibers when you have no choice. Because the surface is so thin down here, you can easily get different dimensions that's incorrect. You try to always use this area up in here at all times, except when you have no choice. Like in, say, this slot here, you may not have a choice where this don't fit comfortably in the slot, so you have to go in there with that narrower part and check dimension across there as to what diameter that is down in there. There's one instance where that's where you have to use that. The same on this side. You have to be cautious of these little flat areas in reference that you don't get a false reading and can keep them in a good position. So also too, for depth of holes, this rod is handy for going in smaller holes and checking down for the depth of holes. And also this particular dimension here, this works really good, like I said, for checking something like this, as far as that goes. Also for layout purposes. Let's say if you wanted to put some layout lines on this block, let's say we're going to lay it out a 1/2 inch by a 1/2 inch. We can run our calibers down to a 1/2 inch. You notice that a 1/2 inch comes up in the window at 0.500. Okay, now that's a 1/2 inch in here, 1/2 inch out here, a 1/2 inch from there to there, and it's also a 1/2 inch from here to there. So what we could do is we could set our calibers against the block there, okay, using this edge here to go against that edge there, and then we could take and scribe a line, scribe ourselves a line across there. Okay, and let's say if we wanted to go a 1/2 inch that way, we just put our calibers there, and we scribe a line across there. And that shows a scribed line in both directions, a 1/2 inch up and a 1/2 inch over. Now, I've seen people on different videos take and use their calibers as scribers and run their calibers across like this. Okay, and that puts a line on there, sure it does. But I don't think that's a good idea, because these are actually the actual precision portions and surfaces of your calibers, to be used for checking and inspecting work, not to be used as a scriber. It's not really a good idea to do that. I've seen people do it where they go like that, and they go across like this, okay? That did the same thing as we did before, but it's really not good for the scribers over time to do that sort of thing. Over time, you're going to wind up damaging the points of your scribers. I would rather just take and do it the old-fashioned way, do a line there and a line there and call it a day. Okay? Another thing you got to remember is you got the locking mechanism here, so when you get it where you want it to be, you want to lock it in place so that it doesn't move around as you're doing your scribing on your scribe lines. Okay? When you're done, you can close it up. It does have over time an automatic shut off, but you can go ahead and shut it off for next time. Okay? One other feature I'd like to point out about the calibers that I really like and use quite often is the fact of metric conversion. So when you turn your calibers on, run them out, clean them out, make sure they read 0, convert that over to metric. You can run your calibers on out to say like, let's say 6.75 millimeters. Let's say you had to drill a hole that size and didn't have any metric drills. What you could do is once you got to the dimension of 6.75 millimeters, you could convert that over to imperial, which is the American measurement, and what you would see is that hole is actually 266 thousandths in diameter, or 17/64. Okay, so you could just go and get a 17/64 drill and go ahead and drill that hole, and that would give you your 6.75 millimeter diameter hole. So the ability to convert this over to metric and back to English at certain intervals is a very handy thing, and you don't have to go find a decimal equivalent or a metric equivalence chart for decimals to do your metric conversion.